Hi, my name is Antonio Centeno. I'm the founder of Real Men Real Style, and today I'm going to be talking about clothing for the tall and thin man. Notice I didn't say big and tall because we're going to leave the big out of this. There are many men out there who are well above 6'2", 6'3", and they don't have a lot of weight on them, actually proportionally. And they go throughout life looking at things very different from those of us that are average height. By the way, I'm 5'9". So how do I know anything about this? Well, I'm a custom clothier by trade. So I deal with men all the time who have fit issues. And over the years and through my research and study, I have learned that there are certain things that a tall, thin man can do in order to look more proportional. And that's the key, is you want to look more proportional. It's not about looking short or looking bigger, because when it comes down to it, you're always going to look tall and thin. And that's not a bad thing. Women are attracted to that. It's looked at as very healthy. You have a lot of advantages. But one of your big disadvantages, as you know, is that it's very difficult to find clothing that fits you properly. So let's go ahead and talk about your best friend is going to be a tailor when it comes to clothing, because he's going to be able to, or she, a seamstress, is going to be able to take clothing which is just too big in the torso, or possibly even too long. That would be a great thing there, but they'll be able to adjust that to fit you better, because a tailor can always adjust things and they can make anything fit you. The key is you need to go out and be able to find clothing which is close, because there are issues with proportions, and that's going to be the limiting factor for you. So even though you may find a great jacket, which, wow, it looks good in the shoulders, it looks great in the sleeve length, but if it is if it needs literally 8 inches taken out of the torso, it's just not going to happen. The reason being is proportion. So the placement of the pockets, all of the lines, if it has any type of pattern in it, overall the jacket is just going to start to look off, and it's not something you're going to want to wear. So you always want to find a piece of clothing which is at least close, and then you can get it altered, whether it be a trouser, whether it be shirts, whether it be even ties can actually be altered to some effect. But those are actually probably one of the easier things. So let's start off with, I think one of the most difficult things for a tall man to find, and that's going to be trousers. And the reason being is that most of the pants out there are made to fit not just the tall man, but the tall and big man. They want to go for as many body types as possible. The problem with that is you get a very, very long rise, and the rise is from the top of the trouser all the way to the bottom of the crotch area. The problem with that is that it makes your legs look shorter, and when the rise goes a lot lower than your actual crotch area, all of a sudden you have your legs, you basically, you can't move your legs, and that's a huge problem. And that's something that for a larger man who's got a little bit of weight here, he wants that extra room. You do not want that room. So avoid any pants, no matter how well they may fit you lengthwise. If you've got too much room in the crotch area and the rise is too long, avoid them. You're never going to get them to work. Look for brands that suit your body type. In jeans, I know that AG Jeans, they specialize, or they've got, maybe not necessarily in the stores, but you can go to their website and you can find clothing that's going to fit taller men. And another option, besides tailors, I have a friend, her name's Lisa Bruckner. She owns a company called Hendricks Park. They do a great job of working with men who are harder to fit and don't even want to go out there and deal with all the shopping. And they know exactly what brands you want to go look at, and they will deliver it right to your door. So that's an option as well. You're going to have a little bit more disposable income, but when it comes, you think about how much your time is worth. I think they're a great service for what they offer. Another option, of course, is custom clothing. You can check out my website if you want to know more about that, but that's something I'm sure you've thought about. Not always affordable, but there are many options. There's a Savile Row is one price point. There are guys over in Hong Kong that are another price point. So you may even want to take a trip overseas and have your entire wardrobe done over there. I specialize in wardrobes at a Tailored Suit, my custom clothing company. And that's something I find that I'm able to kind of bridge the gap. I offer really good quality, and I I think I offer pretty good prices as well. All right, so getting back to the points while you're listening to this. So ties. There are companies like ties-necktie.com. My friend Hendrik Pohl owns this company. And at ties-necktie.com, you'll see that they've got 60-inch and above ties. You want a tie which is long because, as you know, if you've dealt with a tie that's maybe only 56 inches or 58 inches, you're going to find that you've got to tie actually a small knot in order for it to end at the right point, which is right at the center of your belt buckle. Instead, simply buy ties which are longer. So you can find ties for 62 inches, and that's exactly what you should be looking for. In addition, you want a tie that's proportionally and a bit wider. So 3.75 inches is about what you're looking for if you're over 6'2", 6'3". Another thing is shirts. So this is one area where you may want to go custom. There are companies that are coming out, and I've seen companies, one of them's Long Shot Apparel, and these guys are focusing on the big and tall man. But another option is custom. And this is where it could really pay dividends because so many men, you can find a brand oftentimes that will fit you, but it's a long and treacherous ordeal. That's why I like Lisa and her services over at Hendricks Park. But you want to find a brand that has and can meet you in the sleeve length, can meet you can actually get the collar adjusted. So if you end up finding some great deals on shirts, don't be afraid to have a tailor take off the entire collar. He can split the back and make it a little bit smaller. Now, as far as adding room, that's a lot more difficult. So that's why you always want your clothing to be a little bit bigger. But you can actually dart shirts up to, depending on your size and your proportions. But I would say 4 inches. You can bring in a shirt in the torso area and just have it darted, mostly in the back. You may even have some darts in the front if you're really needing to have some room done, although I don't really recommend them in the front. So we've talked about shirts, we've talked about trousers, we've talked about ties. Now let's talk about jackets. Okay, on jackets, they're great because they're going to help you look more proportioned, and they're the one item I think that every tall, thin man should be wearing. And the reason being is it's going to build out your shoulders. And when it builds out your shoulders, it's just going to make you look more proportioned. It's going to add weight to you. Putting on a jacket that fits you well, and if you're really thin, I think can easily add 50 pounds to your frame. Not really, well, unless you put weights in there or something, but no, really, when I look at this jacket on you, it's going to build out your shoulders. It's going to make your arms look a little bit bigger. I mean, all of these points are what you don't want to look like. You want to look normal. You want to look proportioned. You don't want to look skinny and lanky. And if you wear clothing that fits you too close, and the big thing is going to be your shoulders. And if those aren't built out a little bit, or if you have really narrow shoulders, that's where you're going to start running into issues because it's your shoulder in proportion to your head, which is going to make you look skinny and unproportioned and lanky, and that's not what you want. So hopefully I hit on a few points there which were useful for you. In the article, which I linked to down below, I try to expand on a few of those points. In addition, visit me over at Real Men Real Style. I go into a lot more. I give a lot of information about men's style and how to dress for different body types. And I hope you found this useful. Take care. Bye-bye.